I can give you a great perspective from someone that's helped many brothers move on and get jobs at the D1 level like I have. But I wanted to show the audience the discussion you guys had yesterday. Take a listen.
We aren't seeing black coaches being able to elevate and take that step. Why is that such a hard thing for us to get to, and only having 8% of coaches that are black in college football right now in 2024?
If you get into it, you don't get into an elevator on the 4th floor to go to floor 8. You have to start at the ground floor, which is floor 1. And I think the biggest thing regarding black coaches and why there's so much of a struggle is many young guys do not know the barrier for entry into the profession. Most guys that are playing major college football that I talk to, they are dreaming of the National Football League. So what happens is they end up spending the majority of their 20s chasing playing football. When they don't get drafted, when they don't make a roster, they want to go play arena ball. They'll go play semi-pro ball. They'll go play ball in Japan. So now they end up 30, 32. They got a wife. They got 2 kids. They can't afford at that point to go be a GA and work the entry-level jobs. So they're not able to get in at the point of entry. They don't have a sense of what am I going to do when I don't make it to the league, right? I'm not going to the NFL. I've got my evaluation back. The scouts are telling me I'm not a draft pick. My head coach is telling me I'm not a draft pick. But I did get the education, which is what every parent tells you they want from their kid when they go to college. That's often we find out that that's not the most important thing to them. That's not the truth. So they're not educated and or willing to be a graduate assistant or start off in a low-level analyst job. The spaces that you need to do to work your way up and build the relationships that you need to build in order to climb through the coaching ranks so you can be in some of those key positions, because most of them spend their time chasing football. And it's not just coaching. You can be an agent. You can be in media like us. There's a lot of lanes within football where you can have success, and guys have to be able to accept when they're not going to the National Football League. And if they were to go online, you see what these coaches are making. You can still buy your mom a house and take care of your family in a major way by coaching the game of football.
Carl, it's interesting. I tell people that all the time. When do you know to stop trying to chase the money and make it to the NFL, which we all were born into believing we're going to make it to the league as high school kids or Pop Warner. We want to play in the league. Number one, to address that, I don't know if they're as hungry as we once were. I don't think football – we had a kid that just got drafted and retired before he even went through OTAs to be a TikToker. And it's crazy, Coach, because like you look at it like the dream that we worked our butt off since little kids all the way to make it, and you get drafted. It has to start resonating with GMs, head coaches to say, okay, are we really evaluating these cats out of college to waste a draft pick on a cat that didn't even play for us? He got a little first round check though. So I'm trying to figure out if the investment is really there. Because I look at the kids' bodies, Coach. I look at everything. I don't think it's even close to what it is. We got 900 injuries in the NFL last year, all-time high, most of them being soft tissue. That tells me that something's not right in the workout regimen or the investment in their body. No one wants to have that discussion, though. But it is what it is. And you brought up some interesting points. I used to tell these cats, like, man, that's why I was giving away free housing and board in Indy to get the young coaches there. I can't pay you, but guess what? What I would have did at 21 to go coach for free, but I could live for free, shit, I would have been doing that anywhere in the country. I would have went to anywhere and did that. But I don't believe we have the right people telling these youngsters, dog, it's time to get into this profession. My question to you is, when do you do it? Like Trent Richardson's on here all the time during football season, and you know, he obviously got drafted. He made it and played for the Colts and the Raiders and had a pretty decent career. It wasn't the career he wanted coming out of Alabama as one of the best ever maybe out of Alabama, but he came in and he says today, Eddie George, who I talk to all the time, and I help talk to his staff all the time about recruiting. Same thing. He's like, man, I wish I could have changed it. I was a Heisman winner. Of course, I knew I was getting drafted, But like at some point, I wish I knew when to cut it off, and I would have went right back into GAing and got my degree and went back to GAing at Ohio State. And knowing Urban Meyer and knowing these guys, I could have probably been a head coach at a Power 5 by now. And when do you cut that off, I guess?
Well, because nobody tells those guys the truth. I don't think most guys that play don't have self-awareness, especially when they're playing or when they're trying to play. So I'll use, and I'll give you one example. I had a kid that played for me, Ronell Perkins. He started at the University of Missouri, but he didn't make it to the NFL. He went as an undrafted free agent to the 49ers. They cut him. CFL, you get cut. XFL, you don't make the team. Well, they're telling you that you're not going to play in the league when that happens, right? So he goes through the second round of tryouts, and he's like, well, coach, I'm thinking about going to Japan. I think, no, your former college coach at Mizzou, Barry Odom, has a GA spot open at UNLV. You're going to go to UNLV and you're going to be a GA. Well, he goes and he GAs. Barry eventually bumps him up to an analyst. Now he's getting paid. He's one of the top young DB coaches in the country. And if you look at the trajectory of his career, he's going to end up making $300,000, $400,000, $500,000, $600,000 as a DB coach. You're learning how to do the whole defense from one of the best defensive minds in football. He's going to make exponentially more money than guys who played in the NFL that played, the 3-year average. But you have to push him in that direction because he was well prepared in that moment with no direction to go to Japan and play football. Well, who does that ever work out for, right? So you got to be honest with guys. I remember, JB, I was at an FCS game. I was watching Lindenwood play Murray State, right? One of my former players was playing. And I turned to, and I played in that league. I played at Austin Peay. And I turned around to one of my buddies during the middle of the game, and I said, damn, man, who in the hell allowed me to think that I was going to the NFL from here, right? Why did they, even at 18, 19, and 20 years old, allow me to believe that? Why did they not have me prepared to go right into coaching? Why did they not have me prepared to go be a GA? Why did nobody have that conversation with me? And that's the truth. The NFL is going to let you know if you're not going to the league. When you get your evaluation back from the NFL draft advisory, it's going to say you're a first-round pick, you're a second-round pick, or you're a day 3 guy, or you're going to the house. They're going to give you an opportunity to work out. And once you see that it doesn't, it's time to move on. And you just don't have to coach. You can be a coach. You can be an agent. You can be a scout. You can be a front office person. You can be in the media. You can run a scouting service. There's a lot of things that you can do to make a substantial amount of money in the game of football. But guys are so committed to playing. There was an Arena League game, here the other day with the Nashville Cats, and you watch that game and you say, man, how many of these guys would be making a lot more money coaching if somebody would have said, you know what, bro, you're probably not going to the NFL from here. And we all are going to well, Kurt Warner did it. You know what I mean? We're looking at Kurt Warner. Well, I mean, Kurt Warner did do it, but he was the player of the year in the FCS, and he won 4 Arena Bowl. Like, he's an outlier. Yeah, but for the most part, it's not going to happen. And so when you don't go into being a GA, when you don't go in and say, well, man, I got an opportunity to go to one of the top JUCOs and have free housing, at the point of entry, right? You're not giving yourself an opportunity to get into the profession at the level that you want to be in.
Yeah, 1%er, Kurt Warner. Like, yeah. People have to understand they're not in that 1 percentile. And I don't know when they tell them. I tell them that shit all the time. I'm like, man, listen, son, you're not going to even go D1. So if you're not, you need to come coach with my butt, because I know you have some, like Alan in the chat, who was a D1 quarterback. Hi, Leah, and I brought him to Garden City, and I don't know if you and Alan know each other yet. Alan and you should be talking, because he's JUCO. He runs that stuff on that side. But like, he knew, got into coaching. I gave him some references. He got in, and like 13 other guys I got coaching D1. Coy Dang right now, who played at Cal, who was on the same team with Jermaine, who got a shot with the Falcons. He's now at Oregon State. I got him up there. Another kid that played for one of my best friends, Kalani, at BYU, hired one of my other kids who you probably know and helped out. So like, there's a lot of this going on, but I want to address this, and I want to bring Matt in. He just hopped in. I'm gonna bring him in about 2 minutes. I want to address and just ask that question before you leave. I want to address one thing about the young brothers getting jobs, and here's my take on it, coming from a white boy from Compton who's helped nothing but brothers my whole life. Here's the take I got. Like, people don't want to talk about it and have this conversation. The brothers are, they have to be hired. And I say have to because this is how crazy it is in this business. It's a meat market, not only for black players, but for black coaches. No one wants to have this conversation. The young brother is to do what? Recruit the brother.
Recruit.
90% of the rosters in college football. Recruit the brothers and then make sure that they're not getting out of hand and out there robbing McDonald's or messing around the dorm with the girls. We know the real, but they don't want to have these conversations on ESPN and all these other things.
That is the absolute truth. They're using the recruit to go sit at the family reunion so everybody likes them and they convince them to come back.
Track me.
School. Yeah, that's the truth.
Like, and the cool part is, though, here's the crazy part that no one's going to talk about. They don't get to move up, coach.
No, they pigeonhole
them. They put them down there to say, you're going to running back coach or the tight end coach. You'll never get better. Coach, I played DB at college. It don't matter. We need you over here. You're going to learn how to be a GA first. But I need you to really control Johnny and these cats from going
What they do, JP, they pay them enough to quit their dreams.
Analysts.
I met with so many guys, and once they start hitting that 400,000 or 500,000 mark and up, I mean, you got to think we got guys in the SEC and Big Ten making $800,000 to coach 3 guys, right? But they're excellent recruiters. And so now when jobs come open, when potential head coaching jobs come open, they haven't coordinated, they haven't coached one of the key positions, and they're not pushing the needle because they don't want to lose their salary, because now your kid's in private school, your wife doesn't work, you don't want to give up the lifestyle, so they're really paying you enough to quit your dreams. I asked a really good coaching friend of mine who's one of the best coaches in the nation, and I said, when these jobs come open, is your agent even discussing with you the head jobs that come open in Conference USA or the Sun Belt? No, but he's going to bounce from position job to position job within the SEC. He's going to always help somebody else win, but he's never going to get the opportunity to really run a program. And then they start paying you so much that even if an FCS job comes open, they just can't make the money make sense on a pay cut like that. So it is a systematic situation, but they're going to use you to recruit. I interviewed Shaun, the head coach at UCLA last week, and one of the things he stressed to me was you cannot, under any circumstances, allow yourself to be pigeonholed as a recruiter. And even if they're not giving you the education that you need to improve yourself as a coach, you got to go out of your way to get the education yourself.
Yeah,
you got
here's the thing. Like, not to cut you off, I think this is what the main issue is. I'm gonna bring Matt in here to discuss it for 1 minute. If you got 2 minutes left, I gotta ask you, like, they're never trained to be a head coach. They manage 0 scholarship dollars. They manage 0 budget. They have no clue how to order transportation. They don't have any clue on how to be a head coach and what that job and this seat actually entails, because you are the manager of your position and don't worry about nothing else. And when a head job comes open, you're the best recruiter on the staff. You're probably the best position coach on the staff. The players love you. And you have the relationship with every damn brother on that team as the recruiter who got them. And then the head coach ultimately is the guy that said, oh, hey, I'm out. Good job for that, though. I just left from Temple to go take the Miami job in Manny Diaz's instance. And now, guess what? Where are those assistants? I didn't take the assistants. You weren't good enough to come with me to Miami, quote unquote. So, it's crazy.